Well, this is a day in which my pride to be Prime Minister of Australia has never been greater. This is world leading. This is Australia showing enough is enough. And the world, including through, I note, some leading media, global organisations who are here, just to confirm, is watching and is following. But Australia is leading. And it's leading not because of actions of my government. It is leading because of some of the heroes who are behind me and who are joining us here today. Australians who've lost a son or a daughter. Australians who have seen the direct impact of social media causing social harm for their families, for their communities. People who have had the courage to take what is a personal tragedy and turn that into a commitment and determination that others who will follow will not go through the traumatic experience that they have. This is indeed a proud day to be Australian, because make no mistake, this reform will change lives for Australian kids and allowing them to just have their childhood, for Australian parents enabling them to have greater peace of mind, but also for the global community who are looking at Australia and saying, well, if Australia can do it, why can't we? So to Flossie, a powerful advocate, just one of the young people who I've met, thank you for your advocacy and for squeezing us into your very tight social calendar. Flossie, I'd ask you to welcome her.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Hi, my name's Flossie and I'm 12 years old. I've been learning about how social media affects the developing brain, and I want to explain why I support Australia's world-leading decision to ban social media for under 16s. My project began as a school inquiry, looking into what happens to adolescent brains when using social media, and understanding the impact it can have on young people. I spoke with neuroscientist Dr. Lila Landowski and psychologist Cassie Zantavalonis, and the science they shared with me was clear. During adolescence, our brains are going through one of the biggest rewiring periods of our lives. It's a time when we're more likely to take risks, act on impulse, and be shaped by the world around us. Social media is designed to take advantage of that. Every like, every notification, every short video releases dopamine. It keeps our brains hooked, even when it doesn't make us happier or healthier. For developing brains, that constant dopamine drip can actually change the pathways we rely on for focus, self-control, and emotional resilience. Young people deserve better than that. We deserve the chance to figure out who we are without algorithms telling us what to like, what to think, and how to feel. We deserve time with real people to learn body language, tone, empathy, and all the social cues you can't get from a screen. We also deserve boredom too, because boredom is what makes our brains spark creativity and think of big ideas. I also want to say this with respect and care. I know that for some families here today, the harms of social media aren't just research findings. They're deeply personal. I honour the courage of every parent, every sibling, and every young person who has been hurt or lost because of the online world. Your experiences matter, and that's part of the reason I stand here today. My mum always says, when we know better, we do better. The Australian government knows that social media is harming young people, and they're doing something about it. This ban is bold and brave, and I believe it will help kids like me to grow up healthier, safer, kinder, and more connected to the real world. I absolutely support this world-leading decision and hope that other countries look to Australia to follow our lead. Thank you for listening, and thank you for protecting kids like me.
And then down to me. Looking back my way. And then I come in. Looking over this way, yeah. Back down this way. I'll do one last one full length.
Okay, sorry, everybody wants me to look stern.
No, I've just realised. Could you out over this way a little bit, yeah. Oh, a little bit closer.
Innocent little girls at a Taylor Swift themed dance party. Well, this is Australia calling time on social media and the deceptive and harmful design features tethering our children to their platforms, gamifying it through endless scroll and snap streaks and autoplay, sending them down dangerous rabbit holes. You know, it's built into the system to keep stickiness through outragement. So the reason the Andrew Tates of the world and the online misogynists are getting so much traction is because the system is built to promote that kind of outrage.
So the US is a big question mark with all this. There's a big free speech kind of component.
We have young Australians who have literally taken their lives as a result of accessing these platforms. So when their lawyer wills back it up about, do you know about free speech? Well, do you know that we actually have laws, and we expect any company that is providing services in Australia to abide with our laws. And so that's another thing that's very interesting to me, this whole concept of technological exceptionalism. There is no other consumer-facing industry in the world where we don't expect them to make sure that there are safety standards. Of AI chatbots. So in March, all of these, I think the harms could be much more catastrophic, and we won't be able to put that genie back in the bottle. Nothing that we do here in Australia undermines the freedom of speech of Americans, while the tech giants are extracting our citizens' data and commodifying our kids, and which is why we have these expectations of safety. Nothing that we do here prevents American platforms from showing anything they want. That they're safe. You know, we don't import medicines or medical devices until they're out. You know, it's built into the system to keep stickiness through outragement. So the reason. And this is where I hear from the parents and the activists and everyday people in America. We wish we had an e-safety commissioner like you in America. We wish we had a government that was going to put tween and teen safety before technology profits. It's going to happen at the House level. But I'd also say that nothing that we do here in Australia. Right. Well, I mean, we've tried to be flexible and pragmatic in our approach, and it will be firm when it needs to be. And of course, the fine is $49.5 million. In my experience, after 22 years in the technology industry and 9 years as a technology regulator, sometimes it isn't the regulation itself that is the impetus for doing the right thing. It's often the reputational damage and the undermining of trust with the public. And in Australia, the trust in the technology sector is very low. In addition to the social media delay that we're implementing, we've been operating for 10 years based abuse. And then we have systemic powers called the codes and standards. But I think one of the reasons they push so violently back against this policy is because it directly goes to revenue. And there are 2.5 million 8 to 15-year-olds in Australia. Before this policy came through, or other policies across Europe, for instance, the companies have had, we know 84% of 8 to 12-year-old Australians had a social media account last year. So even with the age being 13, we know the preponderance of young people have been online. So they can no longer turn a blind eye,